the history of humanity, for the first time in 500 million years, one species has the future in the palm of its hands. I just hope he realizes this is the case. David Attenborough. Our habits aren't sustainable anymore. What we need is an awareness of things that are happening in our world, and a willpower to change things for the better. I am Samira Rijnen, and my adventure leadership program was the least to say, a journey I'll never forget. The main reason I wanted to join this program was because I had so many interests and ideas, I didn't know which one was the right one for me. I didn't want to jump into something and then discover that I didn't like the study or whatever I was doing after all. I felt pressured because I thought I had to choose. It did not help that family members ended up coming to me in the holidays asking, "So, what are you planning to study?" Let me just tell you, never ask this to someone who does not know what they want to do. It will cause an early existential crisis. A gap year to figure out which of my ideas I was truly interested in sounded like a good plan. When we started this program, we were asked to create 3 life plans for ourselves. This is where I began to become a bit nervous because, oh boy, if I didn't know what I wanted to study and do as a profession, how on earth was I going to know what I wanted my life to look like in a couple of years' time? How was I going to know what I wanted to create in general? As you can imagine, what I wrote down was as broad as could be. My first life plan was, create something that I would be happy with and that is needed in the world. Very specific. My second life plan was, design something that is needed in this world, but this time it will be digital. Again, very specific. My third life plan was something completely different, but that was because the question was, if money didn't matter, what would you do? Again, I had no idea, so I said I would travel and write down people's stories. Now I had these broad ideas. They obviously had to be tweaked in order for me to work with them. I was jumping back and forth with ideas constantly. Also, ideas I didn't even write down because I knew I would be coming up with something else. One thing was common, however, and that was that I wanted to create something that was needed in this world and that would make this world a better place. I had things such as sustainable dog toys and apps that could track your health. Eventually, I had to sit myself down, look at my skills, my life, and really think about the things this course was asking. What did I wish existed in this world? What did I see this world was lacking? And what could I create to solve this? Then it slowly but surely came to me. The year before, I had done my art project on endangered animals. I had gotten this idea from the documentary Racing Extinction. I would urge all of you to watch this documentary, as it is very important for the future of this earth.
We had to watch it a few times.
I made them watch it. They didn't have a choice. I believed that this was a topic that needed more attention. Somehow I wish to continue this, taking my knowledge about endangered species one step further. A storybook. I wanted to create a storybook for small children so that they would read it with their parents and that an awareness, however small, would be created. I would write it and illustrate it myself. I was so happy I finally found an idea that I was content with. Then I came to the realization, how on earth am I going to produce a book, both writing and illustrating it? Do you know how long Tolkien took with writing Lord of the Rings? 12 years. Not that I'm comparing myself to one of the greatest writers of the 20th century, but still, 12 years is a long time. Panic was slowly creeping in at this point. Thoughts like, oh, what have you gotten yourself in now? And, you know, you're really good at procrastinating, right? Were loud in my head. However, I wasn't alone in this process. We got given a designer's workbook, a workbook that guided you through the whole process of creating a project. We had to go through the chapters each week, Some of the things included making a question guide for people you wanted to interview about your project, creating a project plan, how to get feedback. We all had to interview our clientele to see if people were actually interested in the project that we were producing. I chose to interview some of the teachers in the school, both who had children and both those who had not. I learned a lot from the feedback about what is appropriate for small children and what I should avoid. The most important and repeated thing that came out of the feedback was that I should incorporate the 3 R's: rhyme, rhythm, and repetition. So we went through these chapters each week, and then the day came where we would go to Cape Town to have our first sprint. This sprint would all be about prototyping and meeting creative entrepreneurs. It was interesting to hear the stories of people from such different careers, and each of their story inspired something different in myself and urged me to make my project even better. We were urged to create our prototype after the sprint, to have it ready for the next meeting in Cape Town about 2 months later. A few weeks after the sprint, I flew to Holland where I would meet up with my dad to work together to create a prototype. I had to do some research on how I was going to draw the book first. After doing some extensive Googling, I came across one of the greatest programs on this earth, Tayasui Sketches. I should mention that a few weeks before this program, my dad had given me his old tablet for me to use, mainly to help with programs such as InDesign and Photoshop. However, that tablet became a tool I used to draw all my drawings on in Tayasui Sketches. The more I drew, the more I learned. What I really liked about this digital drawing program was that it had a watercolor feature, meaning just how like you have the pencil and eraser option, you have a watercolor option as well. And anyone who knows my last year's art will know that I like watercolor. Although I'd done my research with interviewing people, I now had to delve deeper into the world of children's books. I don't know if any of you have ever visited the children's books section of the bookstore, but the common thread is that there is none. Books are in all shapes and sizes, styles, colors, and of course, topics. From blue trucks to potty training, from sad penguins to garden soup, I'm not making these up, they are all there. All there except endangered animals and books against plastic. I can hear you thinking already, but those are serious topics. No one's going to write a children's book about that. It's too depressing. Yes, it's true. It is a very serious and depressing topic. However, this does not mean I shouldn't do it. All this means is that there's something that hasn't been invented yet on a large scale, and that there's definitely a need for it. It meant that it was my job to figure out how to give this to the public in a gentle, kind, and yet fun way. Fun enough so it would keep the kids from crying, but interesting enough so that a seed would be planted, a thought that would grow into a conscience that would know that the use of single-use plastics are bad for the environment. So now I had to start drawing. You know, it really sounds easier than it actually is. First I, of course, had to figure out what I wanted my story to be about in order for me to draw it. I decided to make my main character of the story a manta ray. Manta ray are the biggest of their species and sadly also the most endangered. The reason they are endangered is because people hunt and kill them and use their gills for Chinese medicine. Obviously, I couldn't write that in a children's book because I would end up traumatizing the poor kids if that was the case. So I took the second worst thing that could happen to any living marine animal: plastic. Did you know that at least 18 billion pounds of plastic enter the oceans each year? I mean, look around you. All around us are things made of plastic. However, the single-use plastics are the ones that are the real killer. Plastic bags, toothbrushes, plastic bottles, straws, packaging. The list goes on. I thought that if my main character had to deal with something like that, it could create an awareness in both the parents and children who read the book, and that it's bad for the environment. Now I had to shape my story. It had to make sense, of course, and it also had to be fun and a bit like an adventure. With that in mind, I started writing and drawing. Easier said than done. With my procrastination kicking in somewhere along this journey, I did not follow my planning and became stressed. The end of my time in Holland was in sight, and I still hadn't completed all of my drawings. On one of my last days, I managed to draw the last drawings at a lightning speed, resulting in them looking, well, kind of awful in my eyes, really.
It was a prototype.
Yeah, it was a prototype. However, I did manage to finish my prototype with the help of my dad. I flew back to Joburg with 3 prototype books under my arm that I was to present in Cape Town the next morning. Needless to say, I was tired but content. I had written my story, illustrated it, and now it was ready to be shown to the world. So I will now read you my storybook, so just pretend like you are 7 years old and being tucked into bed. Just keep in mind that what you are seeing now are the fixed drawings and not the awful ones I was telling you about earlier. Okay, got my book here. Nanny and the Mysterious Guest. You're gonna have to give me some time. Okay. Down there in the deep blue sea, where the water looks so bright, swims Manny with his mother, splashing in the light. Manny is a manta ray, the youngest of the pack. The pack grows smaller every year, so sad that they don't all come back. His spots are black and white, not similar in shape or size. To identify him, just look at his back, where a spot in the shape of a heart lies. Manny jumps and dives with excitement and joy, laughing and shouting, "Here I come!" He first says hi to all the fish before returning to his mom. The first is the butterfly fish, yellow with an oval spot. "Hi Manny, how are you today? How is the outside? Is it hot?" Manny remembers the weather. "The outside is good," he replies. "The sun is out and the sky is blue." Manny swims on, waving his goodbyes. Next up is the sergeant fish, blue just like the sky. "Hi Manny, how are you today? You've grown so big. Oh my!" Manny flaps his wings, laughing at the sight. Sergeant fish's eyes are big. It looks like he got a fright. The barber seahorse now swims by, yellow and very, very small. "Hi Manny, how are you today? I bet you didn't see me at all." Manny puts his eye close to the little thing. "Hi seahorse, I see you. Come, jump on my powerful wing." Together they swim further, nearing Seahorse's home. Its house is made of seaweed, with a bed cleverly made out of foam. Manny continues alone, with no fish around. Suddenly, something catches his wing, a thing that makes no sound. "Hi, hello, what are you?" Manny says out loud. The white thing, however, does not reply. It looks a bit like a cloud. Manny shakes his wing, but the thing will not let go. He gets a little tired and is tugged along high and low. In another part of the reef, Manny's mother begins to fear. Manny never stays away this long, but maybe he is near. She's worried and thinks of things that could have gone wrong. "No, I shouldn't think like that. I know that he is strong." The sea turtle swims by, her shield in brown and green. "Hi Manny, how are you today? Oh my, what's that? It looks so mean." "What is it?" Manny asked. The turtle is looking sad. "It almost looks like a jellyfish, but it tastes really, really bad." Manny keeps on swimming to find someone who could help. He now calls out to Octopus. Is it him or is it kelp? The octopus turns different colors, from sand to blue to red. Hi Manny, how are you today? What's flapping around your head? Oh, I see, Octopus says, as he now reaches out. His tentacles quickly remove the thing. It is plastic, he shouts. There is no doubt. Octopus takes the plastic. To the top he must swim, he knows. Up there he finds that he was looking for. In a bin on the dock it goes. That is where plastic belongs, far away from the ocean. It is bad for all the life around here, so getting rid of it is my devotion. Manny, Manny, where have you been? I was worried sick. Don't worry, Mom, I am all right. I was learning about plastic. Mother and son are now swimming home, talking about their day. When you see plastic, what do? Please pick it up and throw it away. Thank you. I gave my book to 3 teachers in the school who had children, with the instructions to read it to their kids and observe the way they reacted to the book. I also made a date with the nursery school class, a class of 18 5 to 7-year-old bright kids. I had the privilege to sit on one of the tiny chairs in the circle and listen to the teacher read my story. It was amazing to see their faces. When the question came, when you see plastic, what do? They all said, almost like it was rehearsed, put it in the bin. At that point, I knew I was doing the right thing. We shouldn't underestimate young children. They know and care so much about the environment, and with the right tools, they could become the leaders of tomorrow. From the teachers, 2 out of 3 confirmed what I'd seen in the nursery school. One teacher even commented that his child had said, and I quote, "It can make the underwater creatures sick." That for me was definitely a sign that I was on the right track. During this time, I also learned from the program that context and connections are key. We learned how to take that big, daunting step to press send on an email to a company, or to dial the number of an entrepreneur you want to work with. Let me rephrase that. We got given the courage to take such big steps. Listening to all the different talks about the other entrepreneurs, one thing remained constant. You just have to push through, fail fast and fail forward. If you never try, you will never know, and your idea of project will get nowhere. I ended up sending emails to the 2 Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town, the World Wildlife Fund, Greenpeace, the MCS, Marine Conservation Society, and my personal favorite, the OPS, the Oceanic Preservation Society. I say favorite because they are the masterminds behind the great documentary Racing Extinction. I wanted to see if I could collaborate with any of these companies and ultimately publish my book through them. I was very surprised when I got an email back from the World Wildlife Fund. I mean, sending an email to a big company is one thing, but actually getting a reply, it's a whole other experience. Unfortunately, due to the fact that they are a charity organization, they did not have the money for funding. However, they did want to keep my contact details, as they wanted to maybe use my book in the future for a new feature of theirs, Wild Classroom. That alone was enough to make me feel elated. People were actually interested in what I was offering them. Greenpeace did not answer my emails, except for an automated email that said, "In August, our office is on vacation. Messages will not be answered until the beginning of September." Well, let me tell you, they are on a very long vacation, because they still haven't answered me. Not that it matters, though. I got an awesome reply from the 2 Oceans Aquarium, saying that they would like to purchase a few books once it is finished, for their children's corner. They also mentioned that I should contact the shop connected to the aquarium, so I could sell my books through the shop. You can imagine what that kind of feedback can do. Through this course, I was now able to present a prototype to businesses, and they were interested. Who would have thought that? I certainly didn't. Last but not least, the OPS replied to my email. Like I said before, I've been a massive fan of their documentary, and getting a reply back from them was like getting a reply back from a celebrity. They are interested in my project, and to this day, we still have contact. My business model canvas is that I wish to collaborate with NGOs who have similar ideas as me, and together we can have a relationship that benefits the both of us. For instance, they will advertise and be part of the book, and the NGO will gain money for every book sold, which in turn will contribute towards a better ocean. Wouldn't that be awesome? I also want to continue writing, and as we discovered in the last Cape Town sprint, my product is viable. I can create a series of books regarding topics such as endangered animals, plastics, or global warming. I can create a blog or talk about the topics regarding above. Right now, I'm in the process of creating a website that I can use as a platform to promote my book. The possibilities are endless. In the beginning of this program, I had way too many ideas, and I thought I wasn't going to achieve any of them. Now, I am standing here in front of all of you, showing you what I've created in these past few months. A children's book complete with business plan and people who are interested. It's been through a rigorous process, from an idea to prototyping, to fixing, testing, testing, and more fixing. Through this program, I learned that it isn't bad to have many ideas. By going through the creating a project from start to finish process, I've learned how to tackle any of my ideas and make them true. Yes, I did create a book, but I also received tools that I will apply for the rest of my life going forward. I don't feel pressure about having to choose one thing, because I don't need to. I've gained design thinking skills and the mindset that I will use to shape the future I want to live in. This program had me realize my potential, things I didn't even know I had in me. I have achieved more already now than I ever thought I would at this point in my life, and I'm very grateful to have been part of this pilot year. I look forward to all the other challenges I can tackle. I want to thank everyone who joined the program for their continuous support and ideas, to William and Dani for creating such an amazing course, and I hope that many more people will have the privilege of joining it. To Clara for always being there to check up on us and for shaping our Cape Town sprints. My mom for being there when I needed help with brainstorming, and in general, thank you for funding this project. My dad for helping me with all the digital stuff and made sure my book looked very professional, and of course also funding. My aunt for putting the dots on the I and made sure that everything was right. For Esteban for helping me shape my drawings. To Machtel for all her help regarding the writing side of this book. To Alan, who bought me a new drawing tablet when the old one broke down. Thank you to all the teachers who helped me through this process, for without your honest feedback, this book would not be the quality it is today. And thank you, my wonderful audience, to take the time to listen to your speeches, and be part of our journey. Thank you.